What is happening, YouTube? How y'all doing today? It is Wednesday, hump day. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful day. Hopefully, your sales are going well. Mine, not a lot of sales, but I had a banger over between yesterday and today. Had a banger hit, so stay tuned for that. Had a really good sale. So it only takes one sometimes, and we had three sales, but one was a banger, absolute banger. So again, stay tuned. We'll get to that here shortly. We're going to cover comments as normal. And we're gonna go over what sold. So hope you guys enjoy this one. My name is Joe, just your average Joe, hanging out in the garage. This is all raw and unedited as normal. I've been reselling full time on eBay for about 8 years, give or take, but I've been buying and selling stuff on eBay since 2000, way back in my college days. So I've been around a while. Certainly can help. That's the whole point of this, is to help the best that I can. Build a little community here, and we're gonna try to go live at some point. At once we get to 1,000, we just went over 660. We're at like 664, so we're getting closer to 700. So I think once we get and this is for Fart Sack Jack mainly. Once we get to 1,000, we'll start doing lives a little bit more often, or more. We'll schedule lives and do those more often, and because I enjoy engaging with y'all. And talking to y'all and things like that. So we'll definitely schedule that where we're not doing business stuff and whatever. No pressure on having to show this and that and all that. We're just gonna hang out. You know what I mean? And just kind of chit chat. So we'll definitely get there. Um, my plan today is to get through. Well, I'm not gonna say today, but here in the next coming days is to get through that other memory card and show you guys another glimpse of me being out in the wild. So hopefully you guys, for those that enjoy that, that's coming. I'll just say that, and then I'm almost through my processing table. I mean, it's looking. I think tomorrow I'll be able to show you my processing table, and it'll be empty. It's I got another little pickup, a little haul yesterday. An older gentleman that does storage units here locally that we've connected and networked called me up and said he had a little batch of stuff from a couple storage units he's cleared out. So I offered him $20 for the little bit of stuff that he had, and he said sure, no problem. And so we met up yesterday, and I got that stuff from him. There was a Nintendo 2DS, pretty dirty, and obviously I don't know if it's going to work or not. The screen looked a little janky, but I mean for $20, it was that. At least what the notable items I can remember was that. It was a PS4 controller that the joysticks are a little messed up. So assuming it works, I can swap out the joysticks, and that'll be $25 for it's a purple one. So the purple one might go for more. I've never had a purple one. PS4 controller. Just some odds and ends, like a couple loose games, like filler games, nothing crazy, like Call of Duty and things like that. Things that I'll just throw in fillers with systems as filler games to throw in bundles with systems. And I would say the best item was going to be the 2DS, assuming it works. So I got to test that today. And then there was also a GameCube disc, which was Sonic Adventure 2, but I assumed it was going to be scratched to Jack because everything I usually get from him is pretty tore up. And so, yes, I went, and that's why I offered him 20, because I assumed that's probably so far gone. I can't even use it. It is scratched to heck. However, I just caught wind that we have a disc resurfacing pawn shop in about 20 minutes from me. They charge $3 a disc. They do it right on site. It takes about 2 minutes a disc. They said it's because I told them, I was like, I got the JFJ. I was like, is it a good one? Because I have one, but it doesn't do very well with GameCube games. Even though I've got the disc, it just doesn't do well with GameCube games. So they said, yeah, their machine is like the big heavy duty machine, the $10,000 machine that they and that takes 2 minutes a disc or 3 minutes a disc, and he said it spits it out mirror finish. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, I'll probably head up there at some point. So I got a little stack of games that I've been holding on to mail out, because typically I'll mail out discs that need to be resurfaced to a company down in Florida that I've done business with before. So I normally just kind of hoard discs that are worth something. Like if they're like a $15-ish game or better, and they're past the point of me being able to resurface them, I can always sand them and then resurface them on the JFJ. But in my experience, once you get to the sanding portion of having to redo a disc, it's not even 50-50. I mean, we'll say 50-50, but it's less than 50-50. But it's the likelihood of it working is not very good. So I don't typically like to go the sanding route on my JFJ. I do the buffing route, which will take care of a lot of the scratches, and even some deepish scratches. It'll take care of. So it does a pretty good job. However, Again, games that are tore up that are less than $15, it's really not usually worth it to spend the $3 or whatever, especially if I had to pay for shipping back and forth when I was doing the business down in Florida, working with them. But now I may do games that are in that. Well, it still ain't going to be worth it after it's all said and done. It's just, after fees and everything, what, $2, $3, $4 that you get off of a game that's $10 anyway. So, or usually I profit about $4 on a $10 game, free shipping. So it's still not worth it on a $10 game to have it resurfaced. So usually it's that $15 threshold point or better. So like I said, I got maybe 8 games right now. 2 of them being GameCube games. One is Rayman, which is like a $20 game. That needs to be resurfaced is pretty bad. So, and I know even taking them to a professional resurfacer, there's no guarantee that they're going to work even after doing that, but it's going to be way more likelihood of it working than the JFJ and having to sand it. So I will certainly do GameCube games if it's a light resurface that needs to be done. But if it's a heavy scratches on it, in my experience, the JFJ just doesn't do a great job. They do have the disc you can swap out for the JFJ that does GameCube, but I've had issues where it cracks the outside of the discs. So I've decided to not even mess with doing GameCube games on my JFJ anymore. And that's just me. If anybody else has a JFJ, let me know in your experience when it comes to GameCube games, if you have problems with yours or not. I've had issues. So I've it's worked in the past, but the more recent ones I've done, it's had some issues where it's cracked the outside of the disc. So I would recommend a JFJ if you're reselling games, because then you don't have to worry and stress so much that the games are scratched pretty good, because the JFJ does a pretty good job of taking care of that stuff. And so you can get a disc looking pretty good again, and it doesn't leave all the little swirly marks all over it and all that. It looks pretty good, so anyway, I would recommend it if you're a game reseller and you're looking to it's worth it in the long run. I've sold a lot of games that would most people would deem dead and no good anymore, that fire up, work after I run it through the JFJ. So, and even in some occasions, even after sanding some really bad ones, even after doing the sanding phase and firing them up, they end up working. I don't prefer to do it when it comes to sanding. And now that I've got a place locally that's $3, anything that's super heavy scratched, I'm not even going to mess with sanding anymore. I'm just going to take it up to them and just start a pile. So anyway, hopefully that helps for any of y'all game resellers. Hopefully you have the place. It's actually a pawn shop. So I had no idea. A local guy, turned me on to it. So if you don't have any disc resurfacing places in town, maybe try a couple of your pawn shops, local pawn shops. They may have one. So, because I never would have thought a pawn shop would have a disc resurfacer. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on comments, and then we will jump into sales, because we did have a big sale that I want to share with you guys. So Winston Wolf says, Joe out there, Joe out in the wild, being an honest and friendly reseller, got interrupted, so I'm back to finish watching. Cheers. Thanks for posting, sir. Well, thank you, Winston Wolf, for your continued support, and appreciate. Yeah, man, I try to be as honest as I can when I'm out and about, and tell people exactly what it is. So what I can pay, and that I'm a reseller. A lot of times I'm transparent. I don't hold back. I think you guys can kind of see that just through my videos. I tell it like it is. Or at least try to, for the most part. Now, same thing with customers out there selling stuff. Like I'm a reseller, so I do collect and resell. So some stuff I keep, and some stuff I resell, or most stuff I resell. So, yeah, try to be honest out there and get fair prices. Replied on newest video. There was actually a hell of a deal yesterday on Marketplace. I was 30 minutes late. They posted it. It was a Super Nintendo clean with like 10 games complete in box. One of them being off the top of my head, I think it was Mega Man, Pokemon Snap, Zelda, Bomberman. Those are the notable ones that I can remember. But there was 10 or 12 games complete in box. I'm assuming they were legit, authentic boxes, and then a bunch of loose games. So there were 64 games. Sorry, there were 64 games complete in box. Then there was some Super Nintendo games complete in box, and there was a handful of Super Nintendo games that were out of the box. It was a Super Nintendo, and they said game consoles and games, lots of game consoles and games, $100. I was like, man, that's some bullshit. Are you serious? Like, no way. So I sent them a thing. They said the thing was pending, and I sent them a message. It was like, hey, I know your thing is pending, but I'd give you $200 for everything if that helps you motivate you. I can come in the morning if you want to, and because it's I think Mega Man alone is probably around the $200 mark, complete in box. So, or 150. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I didn't look it up, but it's up there. Zelda, the same thing. So I was like, dude, I'll double you up 200 if I can come in the morning. I can't come right now. It was 7 o'clock at night. We were doing dinner and winding down for the night, so I wasn't prepared to jump out and roll out. And it was about 45-minute drive, but it would have been well worth it. And so like I try to motivate them a little bit and be like, hey, I'll do 200. And they never replied. So I don't even know if it was legit, because sometimes those kinds of things are scams. They seem like they were legit. They've only put one thing ever up on Marketplace, so again, could have been a scammer or somebody that was just bullshitting. But at the end of the day, I was like, man, that was a hell of a deal. But I'll pay more, so I'll double you up, but I'll pay you 200. So same thing when I'm in the wild. Like it's nice to get a great deal. But sometimes if it's way too good of a deal, I'll throw them a couple extra dollars. Like, hey, it's well worth it. Here's an extra 20, or here's an extra 50, or whatever the case is. It's like, I mean, it's just what's it? Good karma, I guess is what it is. You know what I mean? So, try to be upcoming, forthcoming, and all that good stuff. Anyway, Phantom says, appreciate the GoPro video, shows us how you wheel and deal, new, old. We all will watch it. Keep making that money. I have received multiple packages that have been reused from previous purchases. I've even had a package come with an old receipt. The only time I leave a negative feedback is when the seller is an obvious asshole who picks the biggest box for the smallest order. Oh, that's funny. Or they take over a week to process the order. Facts. There's things that are more important on whether you reuse a bubble mailer, like how fast you ship, your customer service. Did you accurately describe your product? Did you was it packed well? Like there's things that are there's a lot more things that are above the pettiness of reusing a bubble mailer. So I'm with you there, Phantom. I personally have reused packaging, peanuts, and bubble wrap out of stuff. I make sure that there isn't any tape or damage to the bubble wrap, or make it look presentable. I got a buddy who uses videos on all his listings. He still gets scammers claiming it's not as described. eBay needs the system to weed out these people. YouTube trolls are out there in full force. You ain't lying. Well, my new strategy, thanks to the Picky Picker, is videos. I got 2 videos from the last 2 systems. I just did another one last night. A PS3, did a quick video of it loading and showing the screen, and got that in my feed, or in my reel on my phone, so that way when I'm ready to actually post it, I can also add the video to it too. So yeah, absolutely, Phantom, there, right there with you. I will say I am drowning in processed stuff right now upstairs. So although my processing table here is pretty much clear, which I'll show you guys probably tomorrow, because it'll be clear tomorrow. So I'm gonna show it off for those that have been around. You know what I'm talking about. It was plumb packed full of crap. But a lot of that stuff is upstairs. It's been cleaned, processed, tested, bundled, zip tied, all that good stuff, fixed, tinkered with, for things that haven't been. Like last night, I tinkered with a PS2. I've tinkered with an Xbox, OG Xbox. I replaced thumb pads on 2 GameCube controllers. I replaced thumb pads on a PS4 controller. I think that's about it yesterday. Yeah, I think that's about it. So nothing too crazy. But opened up another PS1 and cleaned the lens on it, which that's just a tray. Clean the lens, too easy. But I wasn't reading discs, tested it out, fired up. So there's only been like 1 or 2 occasions right now that I can think of. Actually, 2 occasions that I can think of right now that the after doing isopropyl alcohol on the lens, that it did not actually fire up afterwards. So I am an advocate of cleaning the lens, even if you have to take the thing apart a little bit. Actually, 3. The OG Xbox, I just bought the CD tray for that one, the whole CD drive for that one, because I did open it up. I did take the cover off of the CD tray, and I cleaned the lens, put it back together, tested it, didn't fire up. So that was actually the 3rd. I did PS2. I think it was a PS1 recently, a PS1, a PS2, and an Xbox out of all the systems that I have tested. And then a while back, there was another one that didn't work. I think it was another PS1. So out of all of the systems that didn't read discs, that I did the isopropyl alcohol, which if I had to guess at this point, since I got turned on to that little hack, I've probably done, I don't know, 60, 70 systems. So only 4 or so. So I'm batting pretty high as far as, the number that do fire up after you clean the lens. So I am an advocate of that. So if that helps any of you all, definitely get isopropyl alcohol. Now, I use 91%, but 99 is better from what I understand. It just evaporates quicker. So that's the difference. So anyway. And it's great for cleaning cartridge games, the cartridge games, the pins on the cartridge games, and controller leads on cartridges and things like that. Did I get a sale? Somebody offered me $7. We'll get to that for tomorrow. So Phantom, thank you once again. Winston Wolf says, I agree 100%, Joe. If you're a disagreeable or difficult shopper, I'd rather block them. And if I get a whiff on it, and won't do business with them, not worth the cost or hassle. Anyone that does a return on me, unless it's a valid reason, because I screwed up, which I think has only been once, because I marked something like new and the game's artwork had tiny narrow rip in it that I didn't see, then I block them. I'd rather that person didn't do the return in the end, but left me negative feedback, but I'll take the blame. Take ownership. And then Fartsack Jack says, I'm sorry for asking for measurements on a shirt I want to buy isn't difficult, and I'm blocking the person for asking is silly. Well, I don't know if he was talking about the measurement portion, but you guys are funny. So I agree with, I'm just gonna keep it moving. Winston Wolf, thank you for your comment. Let's keep this moving. But yeah, I will say, difficult shoppers, I don't need them in my life. It is what it is. You can think what you want to think. I'm at a point in my life that I'm okay with turning difficult, super picky customers away, because it's probably going to be a return. It's probably going to be some bitching on the back end. I don't want to deal with it. I got enough going on in my life. This is my show. This is my world. This is how I want to do business. Is it the norm on how I do business? Absolutely not. So don't get it twisted. 99.5% of my customers, I take care of them. I help them. I answer questions. I'm super customer service oriented. I'm quick to answer. I take care of them if there's a problem. But there is a small percentage of customers that I will give them the business, or I don't want to do business with you. And I have that right as a seller to do that and to say that and to feel that way and to operate that way. Has it led to a couple less sales over time? I don't believe so, but maybe. Not anything to affect me to say, oh, woe is me. I don't know why I don't get any sales because nobody likes me because I can't sell stuff. At the end of the day, I have that right. And you have that right to operate in the way and the manner you want to. Again, y'all have to remember, this is our business and it's the way we want to operate it. There's a lot of people out there that run eBay like a fucking shit show and have a lot of problems and don't answer customers and don't list properly and don't do items that describe properly and don't package properly and just are terrible sellers. They're still out there making money and doing it. And it's like, I get games sometimes from when I buy games on eBay that they're not in the very good condition. Like they took some pictures, they look pretty good. They don't really add much in the description. They just put very good in the generalized thing. And then next thing you know, you get it and you're disappointed. You're like, man, this thing is kind of trashy. Like, I almost want to return this thing. I don't want to be that guy. And so I'm not that guy. So again, you pick and choose your battles, but at the end of the day, I see all sides of it, but I'm going to do what I do. So anyway, let's keep rolling. Next one, Winston Wolf also says, I agree with both of you on the subject on reusing bubble padded envelopes, bubble mailers. On the one hand, I do think it's cheap, but I value that about it. I'd rather look a little cheap over spending money on new ones. Only reason I said I just bought some was because I had a $50 off, 50 of them for $4.87, and they're more convenient to seal and are better quality than the reusing the Amazon bubble mailers, which I think I said I never throw those Amazon ones away. I use them too, and I'm not too worried about losing sales over it. To each their own, but I'm more agree with you than the guy that left the comment that I can't see that I can see both methods to the madness. I mean, look, there's no right or wrong here. It's all, and at the end of the day, it's all opinionated. So there's no facts. Look, if I was getting any feedback from anybody, from customers that said cheap packaging, I probably would reconsider. And this is over the 24 years of doing this. Like, are most of my packages going out and reused padded envelopes? No. But do I send them out and reuse them? Yes. Do I have new envelopes that I send stuff out? Yes, they're all over here. And when I run out of the used ones, I go to my new ones. But I am going to use some old, obviously if it's tore up and jacked to shit, I'm not going to use it. But if it's a reusable padded envelope, there's no problem reusing a padded envelope that's been, what I don't understand. Like, so at the end of the day, look, to each his own. Again, it just goes back to, there's no right or wrong. And if I had ever gotten feedback from a customer that said, I can't believe they reused padded envelope, or they were cheaply packaged, shouldn't reuse reused envelopes, then I would, as a seller, reconsider my process, because that's usually how you reevaluate yourself, is when you get negative feedback on something, and then you try to implement a tweak, an adjustment to do better going forward. At least that's what you should be doing. So with that being said, if I had ever gotten feedback from a customer saying something about my packaging materials being cheap or unprofessional, then I would certainly reevaluate life. However, I have never received any of that type of feedback. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and folks that think it's cheap and don't want to do it, that's fine. There's no right or wrong. There's no numbers out there for you to evaluate and say, Joe, based on this information, it's, valid that less customers are purchasing from you because you're reusing padded envelopes. Or reusing boxes for that matter. I've got a ton of boxes that come in the mail and I reuse boxes. Are we going to have the same conversation about reusing boxes? It's the same thing, isn't it? So, not only padded envelopes, but boxes. All of my boxes, in fact, over here that I'm looking at are all from Amazon, or what is this? Cottonelle toilet wipes that we use, and it's in a brown box. Trust and believe, I've shipped out probably umpteen million of those things, and it's in a Cottonelle butt wipe box. Have I ever had a customer complain, say, I can't believe that you sent me a package in a butt wipe box? No. If I did, I might reevaluate life, but I've never have. So I think on the priority level, like I mentioned before, item is described, package well, ship quickly. There's other things above, did I say item is described already? Anyway, there's like at least 3 or 4 things that are more important. Hell, probably 4 or 5 things that are more important than the type of packaging that you used. So that's way down on the totem pole. Anyway, let's just keep rolling. I can't believe this has been such a big subject. I love it, actually. It's kind of cool. Phantom says, replies to Winston Wolf. Let me reply to you guys here. And oh man, we're not gonna get. Well, luckily I only had 3 sales. We're already at 23 minutes. Let's see. This Winston Wolf. Phantom replies to Winston Wolf and says, I never reuse envelopes. I also buy them in bulk online. Boxes sometimes, if acceptable condition only, and labels removed. No Sharpie marks. Boxes are more expensive for me because my specific box size, small to medium. Good to get from a purchase. Good to get one from a purchase than a smaller, than similar. A purchase that is similar. Bubble wrap is different ball game. Just that the thick brown packing paper and packing peanuts reused, no problem. And again, to each his own. Phantom doesn't. That's okay. I'm not going to be mad at you because you don't. I'm not going to crucify you because you don't like to reuse. But don't come at, you shouldn't come at me sideways because I do. Like, there is no right or wrong, and that goes back. We'll get to the comments from, I think it was Nick here in a few, because I think all this is kind of leading up to his comment here in a minute. Anyway, Mark says, maybe it's because you're live. Maybe it's because you live in a similar area. I live in an area with over 8 million people, so things are going to almost instantly on Marketplace. So Maybe. I mean, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I don't know how many people we have here, but we got a fair amount of people around here. Tons of military. Um, I do know when I go to Gainesville area in Georgia and I look on Marketplace there, there's there's lots and lots of people there. It's super saturated. I mean, you're right on the outskirts of Atlanta, and there's always good stuff there. Always. Now, yes, you have to be quick to the trigger, just like here. You have to be quick to the trigger there. But there's way more stuff there. Raleigh, the same thing. All the good stuff I always see up in Raleigh. Raleigh's got saturated with people. There's tons of people in Raleigh. So I don't know if that's so much the case, Mark. Maybe, maybe not. But just a caveat or rebuttal to that is when I'm down in the outskirts of Atlanta, or when I go up to Raleigh and I don't go up there often, but when I see the stuff from Raleigh, those places are huge cities and there's lots of good stuff in those. And every time I say, damn it, I missed a good deal, or I see the deal, but I can't, I'm not trying to drive an hour and a half to go get it right now, and if you don't go get those deals now, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to wait for you. So you have to go kind of like now, a lot of times. And so it's just not convenient for me to just go now. I got kids and, got other things going on. And so it's like, I try to set up an appointment like, hey, tomorrow morning or later this afternoon or something like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know if that's got, yes, I live in a little bit smaller area, but I see all the deal when I go to Georgia and Atlanta and when I go to Raleigh, or see the stuff from Raleigh. I mean, those are huge cities. So I can't say I'm going to rebuttal that and say, I don't think that's the case. I will agree with you. You got to be quick to the trigger. So that 100%, but that's here too. That's the same as here. I got another offer on something. We'll get to that later or tomorrow or later on when I get off here. So those will be sales hopefully for tomorrow. Fat Sack Jack says BS go live. Look, man, like I said before, you know how my thoughts are on that, but I appreciate your support, Fart Sack Jack. Even though we may agree to disagree, that's okay. All sellers and comments who sell any clothes, do you add measurements? We got nobody reply to that, but I'll reply to you. That's fine. I think, somebody did say always add measurements. So we did get a reply. Big Tone Finds and Sales. Big Tones Finds and Sales says always add measurements. Can save you the hassle of a return. Takes a minute or two extra, but oh well worth the headache or questions. Again, there's no right or wrong. I don't care what you say. I'm not doing it. So maybe I'm wrong, and that's fine. I'll be wrong. I'm still going to sell clothes, and I don't have a ton of returns on clothes. And if that person, my stance on it, I said it before, is because of the cause and effect of having so many people ask me over the years and then it not translate to a sale. That's my reasoning. You can take it or not. I'm not going to take the extra minute or two to add the measurements for clothes. I'm not doing it because I hate clothes to begin with, but I do sell and they do make money. So I will list it as large, extra large, whatever the fuck's on the tag, and that's going to be it. If I don't sell them, then I don't sell them. That's fine with me. If a person really wants it and they reach out to me a few times, then I'll send them some measurements. I'm not going to add them and go out of my way to add them on my listing. You can look at me as a bad seller all you want. Don't really care. But that's how I'm going to operate and do business. This is a Columbia men's extra large, and it's going to be listed as such, a Columbia extra large fleece. And there's that. And we're going to keep it moving. And it will eventually sell to somebody that will enjoy that extra large. The person that needs the measurements probably won't buy it from me anyway, even if I send them measurements. So I'm good with that. So again, to each his own. I don't feel, and maybe I could be wrong, maybe I'll do a test run on it and see. I don't believe if adding measurements is going to translate to more sales if I add measurements into my listings. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time that I'm wrong on anything, but I'm not motivated enough when it comes to clothes to do that. I may do a little test run on the next batch of clothes and add the measurements just to see if that batch of clothes sells any faster than the batch that doesn't have measurements. If it sells faster, then maybe your argument holds some water. Add measurements to your thing. But I don't know. And if I was a niched clothes reseller, I would add measurements. I would take the extra time because that is all I'm selling. So that is a little different. It's just like folks that don't sell video games a lot of times don't take into account all the little nuances with video games. For example, this system has third-party controllers. They don't even mention that. They just say Nintendo 64 with 2 controllers. Well, are they third party or are they OEM original? There's a difference there. So, there's a price difference there. So, a lot of resellers that don't sell video games regularly won't put that. Or is the cabling third party or is it legit Nintendo cabling? There's a difference there. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're not a video game reseller, I wouldn't expect you to probably put that stuff, but that does matter, and customers are going to care. You get some cheap ass third party controller or cable that falls apart, versus having the legit Nintendo controller or legit Nintendo cabling. A lot of non-video game resellers won't even that doesn't even dawn on them to put that in the listing. So there's caveats all there, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, do you, I do me. When you sell video games, if you don't do that, then shame on you. Shame on me for not putting measurements in my stuff. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. We're all nobody's perfect. And, again, there's no right or wrong. It's the right or wrong comes down to was the customer satisfied? All of our opinions on packing materials and measurements and blah, 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 it's all petty shit. Was the customer happy at the end of the day? Did they receive your product and leave you a good feedback or not do a return on it? That's ultimately who it matters to, and what it boils down to is, was that customer satisfied with their purchase with you? That's it. All of this other stuff is just noise. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my point. Drop the mic and we're keep it moving. Anyway, yeah, and Big Tone Fines, thank you for commenting, hanging out, and yeah, so appreciate the input in the comment. We already got Mark. Next one up is Yarina. Man, we're gonna have a whole video of just comments. Good thing I only had 3 sales to cover. Yarina says, I will just say, let me make sure this mic's on. Okay, cool. I will just say it's hard to please everyone because I'm pretty sure that the percentage of people not buying for getting stuff shipped out to them in a reused supply is very low. Agreed. Probably 0. It will not to say 0 to none. Me specifically, I'm the type who cares more about the item being as described and in working condition as to pay attention to the state of the packaging material. Honestly, I could care less if I got stuff undamaged, as long as I got the stuff undamaged. People who want their stuff in brand new wrapping supplies are welcome to it. I mean, it can be new, reused, or whatever. Whoever don't like it, keep it moving. But that won't dictate the success of your business. That's just petty. Most of us reuse a lot of things, not only packing supplies. Great video, Joe, as usual. Keep them coming. Yarina, I again, yeah, to each his own. You want to not reuse packing materials? That's okay. Do you that's fine. But like, for the guy that wants to reuse packing materials, who are you to tell me I shouldn't do that? Like, are you serious? Anyway, Jesus says, hey, Average Joe, thank you for replying to my comment. Also, thank you for giving me inspiration and motivation to list. Package and hunt for package and hunt for treasures. I was here at 150 subs. I will be here for 150,000 subs. Cheers, Joe. And I always will be here. I will always be here with Average Joe. Well, Jesus, again, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you hanging out. I don't think we'll ever hit 150,000 subscribers, but if I could hit 10,000 subscribers, I'd be a happy camper. So that's my short-term goal is 1,000, and then my long-term goal is 10,000. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers, man, I'd be ecstatic. It may take a few years, several years, maybe even, and that's fine. One day, I'm here anyway. Like I told y'all before, I'm gonna be here anyway doing this until the day I stop doing this. Then I'll stop doing this. So that's kind of, it works hand in hand. So I look forward to doing the videos. Next one up, and Jesus, thank you once again. Nicholas says, so I think this is the one that we're kind of already answered a lot of the stuff, I think, for this one. But Nick says, I had a brick and mortar for 16 years and selling on eBay for 25 years, 100%. He says 100%, Nick says, it will cost you more business than you're saving. False. Doesn't matter how much you've been in business, bud. Does not matter. But that's fine. That's your opinion. And everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has an asshole. That's your opinion. It doesn't matter how long you've been selling, because I've been reselling on eBay full-time for 8 years. I've had a brick and mortar now for 6 years, but I've been buying and selling stuff on eBay for 24 years. I mean, just from my standpoint, it don't make 2 shits of difference whether you reuse packing materials or not. But again, that's my opinion. And I have that right. Like I mentioned before, I've already kind of said a lot of the stuff already, so I'm not going to rehash and say anything else at this point, because I think I've already beat it like a dead horse. But you can do you and I can do me, but you shouldn't come at somebody sideways about reusing packing materials. That's petty. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the low end on the totem pole. If it's on the list of things, it's way down, way down. There's a lot of other things that need to be right. The packing material that you occasionally use to keep out of the landfill is not the worst thing to be even, I'm not gonna say arguing, but conversating about. I mean, I'm not arguing with anybody or mad about it, but conversating about, like, that's kind of dumb, to be honest with you. It's probably the biggest subject we've had so far because of your comment and us touching on all that, which is fine. You couldn't be more wrong. I had multiple businesses, and it's a bad look. It's just a bad look, and just to say you don't want that customer is just lazy and a bad look. That's your opinion. I'm sure there's lots of people watching that are like, if a customer is going to be more of a headache than it's worth, I don't want them. And I had, like I said before earlier in the video, I have that right to say that, as this is my world and my business. Your perception is your world and your reality, and that's fine. It may be a bad look for you, but I'm sure that just as many of folks that feel the way you feel, there's just as many folks that feel that I'm right in that respect. Like, I have that right. Just like, if you got a difficult customer coming in a brick and mortar, you can deny them business. And that's happened in a lot of brick and mortar places because they're just a pain in the ass and just a customer that you don't want to do business with. And you just, like, that's not uncommon for those kinds of things to happen. It's the same thing with online. If, again, we can go down that rabbit hole and all this and that. At the end of the day, you have your opinion, but I don't agree with you, and that's okay. You cannot agree with me, and that's okay too. We can agree to disagree, but you are commenting on my videos, so I am going to rebuttal to what you're saying because I feel differently, and that's okay. And you cannot agree with me, and again, that's okay. Again, who it matters to is the end user, the customer that's receiving it. Our perception on the outside, you can think one way, I can think another, but my customers, my following keeps going up. I haven't had anybody send feedback in any of my feedback or send me any messages about my packing materials. Until then, I'll make a change. Until then, I'm going to perceive you as continuously being wrong. Doesn't matter if you've been in business a million years. Don't care. You being in business for X amount of time doesn't really matter as far as this situation. Do you have a great amount of experience? I'm sure you do, and that's great. But you can still be wrong or right. We're just going to keep it moving. All right, next one. Oh, and then he also goes on to say, he does follow up and says, Nick also says, I love the way you just make things up. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Companies spend millions of dollars a year on packaging, but you think it doesn't matter? Yes. Let me keep on with this because I think you totally lost me on this one. Just because it doesn't matter to you doesn't mean that millions of people don't think it matters. I order my wife a Louis Vuitton. That's where you lost me. That's where you lost. And I'm sure most people that are watching right now are going to lose your credit. You're going to lose your credibility right here because it just doesn't matter. I ordered my wife a Louis Vuitton last month. Your credibility just went beep, in my opinion. You just went on a dive. Louis Vuitton, I'm not even going to read the rest of the comment yet. Louis Vuitton and reselling on eBay used items is night and day, my friend. Night and day. I would expect if I'm buying something from Louis Vuitton and spending a bunch of money that the packing is nice as well. I mean, we're apples and oranges here, bud. So now you've lost me and your credibility just went down the tank. But anyway, we'll keep reading. I ordered my wife a Louis Vuitton last month, and did you think they used old bubble mailers and padding for that $1,700 purse? Fuck, who the fuck needs a $1,700 purse? Now I'm gonna hit you back with some bullshit because you're hitting me with some bullshit. I'm gonna hit you back with some bullshit. Who the fuck needs a $1,700 purse? Probably gonna use it for a year or two and then not. Anyway, now I don't want to get personal, but you kill me at this point, Nick. Come on, man. Just some common sense, of course. Well, common sense would be this ain't Louis Vuitton. This is just your average Joe. And again, how much stuff you get from Amazon that comes in a great packaging? It comes in a fucking This is what you get from Amazon. Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here, man. You are a joke at this point. It's funny. It's comical. You're comparing Louis Vuitton to just your average Joe reseller. Really? For packing materials. Really? That's like, you might as well throw Rolex at me too and be like, I bought a Rolex and it came in immaculate packaging. And do you think they reuse packaging? No, I'm sure they do. I know they don't. And neither would Louis Vuitton. I mean, come on, man. This, first of all, brand new versus used, two different categories. You're buying from regular old people versus big box businesses that are making billions. Come on, man. Like that don't it's so dumb. So anyway, I'm not saying if you want to be a junk seller and sell low end goods, it's not it may not affect you as much as saying it doesn't matter is just foolish. It doesn't matter, and it's not foolish. Again, I'm gonna be just like yesterday. A customer gets a package in the mail, and this is folded down with some tape on it, right? And what are they more concerned with? They bought it used on eBay. Let's start there. This ain't Louis fucking Vuitton, okay? The first thing is like, I got my package, and then they're just gonna cut that bitch open and see what the fuck's in there. I get I'm telling you, man, that low end on the totem pole, low end on the totem pole is, I would say, very, very low percentage of people care about the packing, what your thing came in. Now, if your box comes in beat the fuck up, we can talk apples and oranges here too. If your package comes beat the fuck, I don't have any beat the fuck up packages because I usually throw them away. But if you've got a box that's beat to shit, or you got a bubble envelope that's like tore to fuck in Timbuktu, okay. But did that happen in transit? Because that can happen in transit. I've gotten some boxes that are beat to shit, and it probably happened in transit. But again, I'm not going to hold the seller accountable as long as my item is good. Now, if my item ain't good, we got a problem. And that, I would say 90+% of customers feel the same way. Just like Yarina said, is your item described properly? Did it come undamaged? Was it packaged properly? Things like that. There's things that are way, do you have good customer service? If there's any problems, there's things that are way above the packing material. So we can talk till we're blue in the face, but don't fucking compare Louis Vuitton to damn any reseller on eBay. Don't give a fuck who it is, unless Louis Vuitton is selling stuff on eBay. Then obviously that's, which I'm sure is the case. But come on, man. I've gotten stuff from we get stuff from Amazon all the time that has how many of y'all get things from Amazon all the time that are in a box that shakes to hell? You bitching at Amazon because they don't use enough packing materials in their boxes to keep the stuff from moving around in the box? Come on, man. Like, Amazon can't even get it right. Jeez, man. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, all right, let's keep this moving. Nick, I appreciate I appreciate you hanging out, and I don't know how much longer you'll hang out with me, but I appreciate you hanging and giving your 2 cents. But I'm gonna give my 2 cents right back at you and hit you right back. I'm not gonna just oh yeah, you're right, because I 100% feel that you're 100% wrong. But again, it goes back to, was the customer satisfied? And if there's a problem, do you take care of them? And have I ever gotten feedback saying, I can't believe you shipped this out in a Cottonelle box or a used padded envelope? Never once. If I have, then I will reconsider how I operate at that time. But I promise you, it is, most people watching this right now, whoever's still watching, most folks are like, I could give 2 shits if it came in a padded envelope that was reused, as long as it was not damaged and it was as described. You're getting used items off of eBay. Like, the expectation is only so high. Okay, this ain't Louis Vuitton. We're not there, man. We ain't a multi-billion-dollar company here. Like, get the fuck out of here. That just kills me. Anyway, let's reply to old Nick here. I appreciate your comment, Nick. Thank you for having such a hot topic going for now 2 videos in a row. Jesse says, your viewer just had a comment and you take offense and get all defensive. Grow up, bud. Jess, fuck off is all. And this is all run edited. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but at the end of the day, I'm being light, jovial, and happy, and I got a smile on my face. This is all in fun. If I was really pissed off, that wouldn't be a smile on my face. I'd be way more serious, and I would be, and that would be being defensive. Now I can rebuttal, and I'm sorry I'm animated in my rebuttals, and you think I'm being defensive. At the end of the day, I could give two shits. I mean, but part of this is also being entertaining, right? And so I'm sure some folks are sitting back laughing their ass off, and that's kind of what I want from this. But at the end of the day, I got no hard feelings toward Nick, and hopefully he has no hard feelings toward me. He can feel how he feels, I feel how I feel, and we can agree to disagree. But again, I'm being still light, pretty light and jovial. But for your comment, I could give two shits. And I'm also not being defensive. I hit you right back how you want to hit me with some dumb shit comment. I'm going to hit you right back and say, you know what? Fuck off. I'm not getting all defensive and shit. And if you don't want to watch, that's fine, Jesse. You have that right. Keep it moving. Or you can watch, and, that's fine too. I don't care. Anyway, we're going to keep this moving. Jesse, Uncle Jesse. All right, let's keep this rolling. DY man says, I agree with Farsack Jack. You should be including measurements in your clothing listings. I hate listing clothes, but I still include the measurements. Again, fair. I already touched on that a couple times, and that's another hot topic now, apparently. Again, we can agree to disagree. Again, it's not an excuse. It's just reality. It's a cause and effect for me. I've been doing this a long time. If I had more sales, if when customers reach out to me for measurements and those translated to sales, I would be more apt to say, I'm going to start adding measurements in my listings because it's going to get me more sales. But that's in my experience, and I can only give you my experience, because I've had so many customers not sell or purchase after I send measurements. I've just gotten to a point where A, I'm not going to do the measurements in the thing anyway, and B, I'm not even going to reply anymore unless they poke at me a few times. And that's just my tweaked, enhanced process for myself. I don't expect anybody to do the same. That's just what I do for me. And that's right for what I want to do. You can think it's wrong, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree. But again, it goes back to the cause and effect, and the reasoning behind the way I do what I do now with clothing is because if I had more clothes sell because I gave them measurements and they sold and they were like, oh, okay, cool, and then they bought it, then I'd be like, oh, maybe I should add more measurements. But because I've had so many not buy after I send measurements, it's not worth it to me to spend the extra time to do it or even reply to the messages. And again, that's just me. There's no right or wrong here. It's your opinion, and that's fine. Farsack Jack, keep doing what you're doing. DY man, keep doing what you're doing and add measurements. I prefer not to, and that's okay. We can agree again to disagree, and it's all good. Again, appreciate you commenting though, DY man, and keep adding those measurements, man. Keep doing you. Deltron says, exactly. I'm eBay seller and sell clothes time to time. I have people message me asking for measurements just like you, and I'm not gonna find the item measurements, find the item, measure it, and I'm not gonna find the item, measure it, and all that. I have buyers that keep asking me after I don't answer the first time, and then I finally reply and tell them it's whatever measurement the size large is. Oh, Deltron, you're the man. I like that. I like that reply. Exactly. It's a large. If you're not a large, keep it moving. If you're that particular about your measurements, then you shouldn't buy online. Isn't clothing like the number one return item or category in all reselling? I believe clothing is. I could be wrong. There's a reason, because people are particular about how things fit. If you're that particular about how things fit, and this is another caveat to my reasoning and rationale, just me, then don't buy from me. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not gonna put the measurements in there. It's not gonna translate to more sales from my experience. It does. I don't feel, and again, it's a feel. I don't feel based on my experience that it's going to translate to more sales. Number one. Number two, if you're that particular, I probably don't want you as a customer because you're probably going to do a return anyway. Even if I give you the measurements, and even if you happen to buy it from me, you're probably going to end up doing a return because you're super particular about your clothes. I don't know what size fucking pit to pit and arm to shoulder and top to bottom I am. I don't know. I know I fit in a 3XL for the most part. Sometimes a 2X. I need to lose some weight again because I've gone up a little bit. I was fitting in a 2X, but now I'm back in a 3X. But at the end of the day, that's, again, I'm right there with you. Hey, me and Deltron are going to go have a beer, man. Hey, I like it. We see eye to eye. And again, just like everybody, folks that see eye to eye, there's folks that don't, and that's okay. Everybody has the entitled to their opinion, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is your opinion, Nick and Fartsack Jack. However, there is no right or wrong in all this. Is the customer happy with what they got when it's all said and done? Whether it's measurements, not measurements, reuse bubble wrap, reuse boxes, whatever the fuck what's the customer happy? 99.8% of my customers say they're happy. That's all I'm gonna. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. First, let's see. Lumina Victor. Appreciate you hanging out, Lumina Victor and Deltron. Appreciate both of y'all for hanging out and commenting. First time watching you. You're great. Thanks for the info and laughs. Good. Got a subscriber and watcher for me. Well, I may lose Nick and Jesse. So, hey, I appreciate you hanging out. You know, you can take their spot on the roster. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, man, this is all in fun. We can agree to disagree, but sometimes I am going to come back at you if you have some dumb shit comments, especially when you're going to compare packing materials to a fucking eBay reseller to Louis Vuitton. Get the fuck out of here. That's just, I'm still like, man, that's, anyway. Tahoe says, hey, Joe, no clothing measurements unless that's your specialty. I agree. If you're a specialty niched into clothing, you should be just like I'm niched into video games. I make sure I put in my post legit OEM controller, legit OEM cabling and power cord, or third-party cable, third-party controller. You know, like those things are important to video game reseller or to video game purchasers. You know what I mean? So that stuff now, I wouldn't expect you, not being a video game reseller, to do that. And if I would say, hey, you probably would want to think about doing that. It may help you with sales, but I'm not going to come at you sideways and compare you to some. I'm not. Anyway, we're gonna move past that. Tahoe Realm, again, thank you for commenting. Tahoe also says use any packing material you want. An antique seller I buy from uses everything for packing, including tissue paper that covers toilet paper rolls. Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, an antique, how long they been in business? 20 some years, just like Nick, and they're using tissue paper off the toilet paper rolls, and they're still in business. Man, if Nick was right, that dude would be out of business. If Nick was right, I'd be out of business by now. Anyway, just because you've been in business, so I'm not going to keep going there. Anyway, Nick, it's all in good fun, man. But I'm not one to hold back. I'm Italian. I talk with this in my hands, and I will rebuttal and come back at you. I'm not that. I'm that guy. So that's, you know, and you can. It's not personal for any of y'all. It's not personal. It's all in fun, and jovial and happy go lucky. And it's not. Again, you'll know when my tone and demeanor goes to a different place, and I don't have a smile on my face anymore, that I'm actually, you know, being defensive and angry about something. Okay, like Jess was saying that I'm getting all defensive, grow up or whatever. Well, Jess, you grow the fuck up. Leaving a comment on my video, you grow the fuck up. Anyway, that's all we got. Man, that was fun. That was an hour of craziness. Oh, we got another comment just came through. The Dark 25 Twitch says, hey, Joe, I feel you on the reusing stuff. So the Dark 25 Twitch, this last comment just came through while we were on this video. The Dark 25 Twitch, I feel you on reusing stuff. I actually put in my seller bio that I reuse packing materials. I also, as long as buyers' items arrive in great condition and they're happy, isn't that a lot, kind of what I just said before? That's exactly nailed it on the head. Also, I went ahead and subscribed to the basic seller account on eBay. You and my sister convinced me, or I just went to the basic seller account on eBay. You and my sister convinced me it was a smart move. Thank you. I do. I think it's a smart move. Don't forget, you get it's like $20 or $30 for free packing materials. There's a coupon code in your account, in your seller account, to go through and get redeem your I don't know if it'll give it to you for this quarter for just signing up, but 100% January 1 for the next quarter, it'll be there. It might be there for this quarter too. I don't know how that works when you first sign up in the current quarter, but for sure January 1 you should have it there waiting on you to use it. So but thank you, the Dark 25 Twitch. I agree. but that's okay. You know, we can't all agree. We can't all agree, and we're all gonna. Some of us are gonna disagree, and that's okay. But I'm gonna give you my 2 cents right back at you when you give me your 2 cents. That's just how we do around here. And this is all raw and unedited. Jesse, I may have gone a little too far and said fuck off or whatever I said. I'm sorry. Anyway, Nick, I'm sorry about the probably the wife thing too, and who needs a $1,700 purse. If you got it, you got it. Hey, congratulations. I'm glad you got it like that way. But this goes back to being all raw and unedited. Sometimes I probably put my foot in my mouth and probably shouldn't have went in a certain place. So I'm just thinking back. Maybe I shouldn't have went there, but that's okay. I'm just owning up to that right now, you know. But again, if you got it like that, dude, hey, great for you. You can give your wife a $1,700 purse and it ain't no thing to you. That's awesome. But I will stick with my rebuttal to you and say you can't compare us or anybody on eBay to Louis Vuitton and their packing. That's dumb. That's dumb. That you did lose credibility there, at least for me, and I'm sure quite a few other people that are watching when they heard that comment were like, "The fuck is this dude talking about Louis Vuitton and fucking just your average reseller on eBay?" Like, come on. Anyway, so I'm gonna stick to that part of it for sure. Let's go ahead and sign into eBay. I don't know why I'm not signed in. Let me switch accounts because we're not doing that one. We're doing just your average Joe. All right, so we had 3 sales between yesterday and today. 1 banger sale. Luckily, I only have 3 sales, so this video will be right around at maybe just over an hour. If I can log into my stuff. Oh, come on, man. What's going on here? So 3 sales. What do I got here? We got 2 new offers. Let me look at my offers real quick. Maybe we'll get 2 more sales. I got 1 offer on all clothing, huh? Don't you know, all clothing that doesn't have measurements on it. It's a Adidas tracksuit. They offered me 35 earlier. They just hit me back with another 35. I'm just gonna decline that. I sent back 55, and so we ain't doing that. You ain't getting a tracksuit for fucking $35. You kidding me? The jackets, no. All right, next one up is a video game. Too Extreme PlayStation. Respond to this one. What is this guy going on here? It's $11.99. They offered me $7. $11.99 free shipping. Let's decline that. not going that low. Sorry. If you offer me 10, I'll probably take it. But all right, so let's go to sales. So nothing else sold between now and we got on selling and orders. All right. So this particular item, it was the huge sale from yesterday. The guy did send me a question beforehand, and I replied to him within like a minute because that's what I do. Because I am a good, believe it or not, regardless of reusing packing materials and not replying to customers that want measurements on clothing. Outside of that, I am a very good seller. If you think those are the 2 worst things about me, then that's fine. I'll take that. But I can assure you, I'm top speed, high speed on everything else. So anyway, he sent me a message about this particular item, and it's been sitting in my store for about when I went on my golf trip with my buddies. If y'all been hanging out with me for a while, you know I go on the golf trips. I don't golf. Well, I do golf a little bit, but I normally don't. I'm not really a competitive golfer. I'm more of a just for fun golfer because I suck. They're more competitive. So I was out hunting in Myrtle Beach while they were golfing, and I picked up the Kevlar helmet for like $50, and it sold for like 4 something. And then I also picked up a Kevlar. Now this is just the suit. The Kevlar plates are in there. Let me show them real quick. There's 2 Kevlar plates in here. Just sold this for $720 plus shipping. $720 plus shipping. It is the legit Army issue. The legit Army issue. Kevlar, inspected here in Fort Bragg. I got it in Myrtle Beach, but it's inspected here in Fort Bragg in 2022, I think it was, 2022 inspection. Here, good old Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty now. So, anyway, sold this for $720. They didn't even make an offer on it. They just bought it. Now I had it up. It's on sale because I think I had it up for like $800 or $900. So it's on sale, 10% discount. So actually 800, must have been 800. So it is on a 10% sale, but they just asked me a question on it. I shot them an answer right back on it. And within like an hour, they just checked out and bought it. And I was like, word, that's awesome. I think if I remember correctly, I picked that up for, it was no more than $50. I think I did $100 for the helmet and the body armor, if I remember correctly. So that was a what, 7 and then 400, so $1,100 off 200 off $100. Granted, this was back in April. I think the trip was in April, so you're talking April, May, June, July, August, 7 months. But here it is. It's sold finally and it couldn't have come at a better time, because outside of that I had two small sales. So it couldn't have come at a better time, to get a huge sale and get a huge pop, because I only had 2 other sales between yesterday and today. One of them being a 3DS box for Nintendo 3D World, just the box and the manual. This sold for $25. Again, just the box and manual, pretty good condition there. Just the box and the manual sold for $25 plus shipping. And then Dead or Alive on 360 sold for $15 free shipping. $15 free shipping on Dead or Alive on Xbox 360. So 3 sales, total $838.27. Now, granted, that's before fees and shipping, but $838.27. So starting off this week with a bang, considering we had a terrible weekend and a terrible Monday as well. Yes, as you guys know, I had $400 some between Friday and Monday. Actually, technically it's Tuesday. So starting off this week with a bang. So hopefully, it's been quiet again since that sale, just two other sales. So hopefully things pick up. But I can't complain. That was a hell of a sale there. So I'll take it. I don't have a ton of huge items up like that. I got a couple, $300-400 items up here and there, but it's nice when you get a huge one like that. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully no hard feelings. And if there is, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll see you again. Maybe I won't, kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow, assuming we got some sales. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday. So hopefully your sales are going good. If not, yeah, I don't know at this point. It's fourth quarter and stuff's not popping like it should, like last summer, like last Christmas fourth quarter. Last Christmas fourth quarter it was popping. So I don't know. My plan is to get a bunch of stuff up though, because I got probably 15 systems upstairs that need to be listed that are all ready to roll. So, but anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully your sales are going well. If not, hopefully they pick up. And if not, try the marketing promo or sales discount on your store and see how that goes. That should help get more eyeballs on your stuff. The marketing promotion, do 5%, and try to get more eyeballs, more traffic on your stuff. That always tends to work for me. In fact, I may end mine and then relaunch mine and see what happens. And typically when I relaunch it, I tend to get another pop. So I may do that and see how that goes. But that's all I got. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we will see y'all tomorrow, assuming we have sales. Bye, everybody.